No one has captured the public imagination like Teresa of Calcutta.
She was a charlatan, pure and simple.
The world was looking for such a figure, pureness and goodness. She became an overnight celebrity.
The press would follow her around the world.
Diana was the queen of hearts. Mother Teresa was the queen of the poor and a queen of humanity.
She walked among the poorest of the poor, lifting those abandoned by society. To many, she was a living saint. To others, a figure shrouded in controversy. But who was Mother Teresa? Was she simply a beacon of compassion?
The greatest destroyer of peace today is the cry of the innocent, unborn child.
Or was there more to her story? Her name is etched into history, not just as a humanitarian, but as a paradox. A woman whose actions inspired millions, yet whose methods raised questions. To understand her legacy, we must first understand the journey that shaped her. A journey that began, not in the streets of Calcutta, but in a small town in the Balkans, with a young girl named Untold Gongje Boyakshiu. But how does a young girl from a modest home in Skopje transform into a global icon? And what forces, both personal and divine, shaped her into the woman the world would later call a saint? Let's find out early life and the call to serve. Before the world knew her as Mother Teresa, before the white and blue sari became a universal symbol of charity, she was simply Untold, a girl shaped by faith, loss, and an unshakable sense of purpose. Born in 1910 in Skopje, then part of the Ottoman Empire, Untold's childhood was filled with devotion and discipline. Her father, a businessman and political activist, provided the family with comfort and stability. But that security shattered when he died under mysterious circumstances, leaving her mother to raise 3 children alone. In hardship, Untold witnessed something profound: her mother's unwavering commitment to charity. Strangers were never turned away from their home. The hungry were fed, the poor clothed. From these small acts of kindness, a belief was born. Service was not an obligation, but a way of life. But charity for Untold was never just about giving. It was about belonging, about purpose. And soon, that purpose began to take shape in ways even she could not have foreseen. At 12, she felt the first stirrings of a calling to religious life. By 18, she made a decision that would redefine her existence, leaving behind her family and homeland to join the Sisters of Loreto, a Catholic order with a mission in India. For years, she lived a quiet, structured life within the convent, teaching privileged girls at St. Mary's High School in Calcutta. The contrast between the world inside those walls and the suffering beyond them was stark. Every day, she walked past the streets where the city's poorest lay, starving and dying. She was a nun, bound by her vows, but something inside her grew restless. She had answered one call, but was it the right one? Could her true mission really be confined within the walls of a classroom? Or was there another voice calling her, one that could no longer be ignored? The call within a call for many. A calling is a destination, a final answer to life's deepest questions. But for Untold Gongje Boyakshiu, the woman the world would come to know as Mother Teresa, her first calling was only the beginning. A greater one awaited her, hidden in the chaos of Calcutta's streets, waiting to be heard amidst the suffering of the forgotten. Then came September 10, 1946. Aboard a train bound for Darjeeling, something profound happened. In what she later described as a call within a call, she felt a divine presence urging her to step beyond the walls of the convent. It was no longer enough to teach within the safety of a school. She had to walk among the poor, live as they did, serve them with her own hands. But faith alone would not be enough. She needed permission, approval from the Church, which was bound by centuries of tradition. For 2 years, she petitioned relentlessly. In 1948, the Vatican finally granted her permission to leave the Sisters of Loreto and embark on an independent mission. And so, she stepped into the streets of Calcutta, alone, penniless, yet resolute. She traded her habit for a simple white sari with blue trim, the dress of India's poor. With no resources, she relied on the kindness of strangers. She tended to the sick, comforted the dying, and cared for those the world had abandoned. But one woman alone could only do so much. If she was to make a real difference, she needed others to join her. In 1950, she founded the Missionaries of Charity, an order dedicated to serving the poorest of the poor. What began as a small group of devoted women soon grew into a global movement. Orphanages, hospices, clinics. Her work spread far beyond the slums of Calcutta, reaching the suffering in every corner of the world. The world saw a saint in the making. But was sainthood truly that simple? Were her methods beyond question? Or did her mission, like all great movements, come with its own contradictions? A legacy of light and shadow. By the time of her passing in 1997,
Mother Teresa of Calcutta died from a heart attack on September the 5th, 1997, after a life dedicated to helping the poor and dying.
Mother Teresa had become more than a person. She was a symbol, a saint to some, a figure of controversy to others. But between devotion and doubt, between admiration and critique, her legacy endures, shaped by both her undeniable compassion and the complexities of her work. Her organization had expanded to more than 130 countries, with thousands of nuns caring for the sick and destitute. She had met with presidents and popes, received the 1979 Nobel Peace Prize, and was revered across cultures. But with such fame came scrutiny. Critics pointed to the conditions in her homes, reports of inadequate medical care, reused syringes, and a lack of proper pain relief for the dying. They questioned the millions in donations that flowed into her organization, funds whose exact usage remained undisclosed. And they challenged her views on suffering. Was it her mission to ease pain, or did she believe suffering was itself a path to salvation? Yet, perhaps the greatest truth about Mother Teresa is that she was neither saint nor fraud, but human, a woman of faith, conviction, and contradictions. Despite the debates, her influence is undeniable. The Missionaries of Charity continue their work today, tending to the most vulnerable. And in 2016, the Vatican canonized her as Saint Teresa of Calcutta, cementing her place in religious history. But even as she rests among the saints, the questions remain. Did her work change the world for the better? Did she challenge the systems that created suffering? Or did she simply provide comfort within them? And perhaps the greatest question of all, can one person, no matter how devoted, ever truly be free from the complexities of their own mission? Mother Teresa's story is not just one of charity. It is a reflection of the human struggle to do good in an imperfect world. What you think about her? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching Life Unveiled. If you love legendary stories, hit like and subscribe for more. See you in the next one.